lesson 2 in the unit 4 for linear equations. We're going to look at slope. I want you to be mindful of something. Be mindful of the slope-intercept equation. Here, my slope-intercept equation, that's a huge line. We don't want that one. My slope-intercept equation is y equals m times x plus b. And you can imagine that your slope is in this equation. This is the slope. Okay? Now, the first thing we're going to do today is to identify the slopes, the types of slopes on a line. So the slope of a line is the change in y's. It's the change in y's divided by the change in x values. You will need to identify points on a line in order to determine the rise over the run. Okay? So there are four types of slopes. Slopes can be positive. Slopes can be negative. Slopes can be zero. Or slopes can be undefined. Okay? Now, we're going to draw what this looks like. So the positive slope runs uphill. So this is an example of a slope that's positive. And you could have put it there, you could have put it here, you could have put it anywhere on this map as long as it's going uphill. So things I need to know about this. It's a line has a positive slope when it slants up and to the right. So the slope is a positive number. Similarly, a line that has a negative slope, when it slants down and to the left, this slope has a negative. It equals a negative number. So it would look like something like that. Those are lines with negative slopes. They slant downhill. So maybe make a little note. See, I'm going to write uphill, downhill, and then I'm going to write flat. We're going to make a little note, another note. No rise. Another note, only one y value. So what does that mean? If I have a line that's horizontal, it goes from left to right, this line has a zero slope, okay? The y values don't change. There's no rise. So a line has a zero slope when the y values do not change, or the line is horizontal. It only equals one number. The slope equals 0. Or in this case, 0 over some number. On the other hand, undefined slopes are always vertical line. It's only one x value, and there's no run, and it's a vertical line. So the line is vertical for undefined slopes. And we say that the slope either has no solution, it's undefined. You might also see the phrase does not exist. And it comes in the equation form, x equals a number. You might also see the slope being this way. M equals some number divided by 0. When I have some number divided by 0, I get an error and thus produces the undefined slope. Okay? Now, what about slopes from points? How do we get slopes from points? Okay? So slopes from graphs occur it can be gotten in a couple different ways. The slope of a line is a number. We use the letter M to show the slope of a line. In Algebra 1, we find the slope in 3 ways. One, we can use the slope formula, the rise over the run, or we can say the change in those y's. So a y sub 2 minus a y sub 1, or first and second y, divided by the quantity of a second and first first x subtracted. Or if it's in slope intercept form, the m equals the slope. Whatever number is in front of x equals the slope. So we're going to do the rise over run method. We're going to find 2 points on the graph. Here's a point, and here's a point. And we're going to label those points. I have -3, -2, and then I have 1, 4. So what we're going to do is get the rise first. We're going to get the rise first. So we'll be looking at these y values. And we always start at the left side. And we're going to count upwards regarding the rise. So we're going to count directly upwards using units. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 5 units, 6 units. So I went up 6 units, 6 positive units. My rise is +6. So in this fraction, my rise is up 6, so +6. Now the run, I'm going in a positive direction. I go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So +4 on my run. Now, if I reduce this fraction, I get 3 over 2. This equals the slope of the line. It's the rate of the y values over the change in y's over the change in x's. Okay? Next page. So 18. So just the overview, our slope equals the rise over the run. Or we're not there yet. We're going to keep writing this till you memorize it. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay? Now, in the next section, we're going to be doing a couple different things. We're going to be working on the type of slope, the rise, the run, the y-intercepts, the x-intercepts, and the rise over the run. So first of all, I can go through, if it's slanted uphill, it's uphill. This is a positive slope. This is a positive slope. The rise, if I pick 2 good points, here's my good point, here's a good point, and we're going to practice getting the coordinates here. So I have 4, 2, and then I have down here -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. Okay? Now, we're going to count the rise. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 5, 6, 7. So +7. So 7, +7 is the rise. Now the run, The run, picking up where I left off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is positive 8. So if I'm going to get the rise over the run, I have 7 over 8 as my rise over run. Now the x-intercept is right here where it crosses the x-axis. If I estimate, it's 2.7 comma 0. This coordinate is 2.7 comma 0. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, and it looks like I'm at 0 comma negative 1.5. 0 comma negative 1.5. So this is classwork. Let's do the next one. The type of slope here. It's a vertical line. This is vertical. So we're going up and down, or this is undefined. The slope is undefined. The rise, if I pick two good points, my rise is 1, 2. So positive 2. Over my run is 0. There's nowhere to run to. The y-intercept does not exist. Does not exist. It's undefined. It doesn't cross the y-axis. The x-intercept is negative 3, 0. The rise over the run is 2 over 0, or undefined. It doesn't exist. Okay? This is the last one I'm going to do with you, and then you continue those other three. Slope type is a positive slope. It's positive. It's going uphill. The rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. So plus 4. The run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. So rise is positive 4. Run is positive 5. That means my slope is 4 over 5. Now my x-intercept is non-existent right now, but if I were to keep going, it would be right here at 6 comma 0. So at 6 comma 0. My y-intercept is right here. It's at 0 comma negative 5. 0 comma negative 5. All right. So you're going to finish the bottom three. Figure out the type of line. Use the notes. Use the notes for the type of line. This is the type of line notes. And figure out the x and y intercepts. And then figure out the rise and run. And here is a pretty good example of that on page 17. All right, so finish the rest of page 18. And then go ahead and come forward to the next page. Now, one of the things we can go over in this lesson is identifying the slope from an equation. So in general, the slope-intercept formula is y equals mx plus b. So here's my dependent variable. It's dependent. And y varies. It varies. That's what equal means. Is varies. This dependent variable varies with x plus a number. So here's the slope. This is the slope of the equation. Here's my independent variable, x. And here is the y-intercept. Now, identifying the slope of each equation, it's the number in front of x. Okay, so we're going to rewrite this. Y equals a variable x. When there's no number in front, this number is always 1 in front attached to a variable. So my slope here is a positive number, so it's a positive slope. It's a positive slope. Okay? Now, the y-intercept is 0, 0. There is no number added to x. So we'll be getting the y-intercept and the slope. We will not, for the purposes of moving fairly quickly through this, be requiring you to do the x-intercept in this particular lesson, because we'll be doing that later on. But what we can do is find the slope. It's the number attached to x, and the y-intercept is the number added or subtracted to the x term. Okay? So I'm going to highlight some things, and I'm going to ask you to highlight some things as well. So what do we want to highlight? We want to highlight the numbers in front of x. 2 is in front of x, negative 1/3 is in front of x. Okay, these are our slopes. Now the numbers added to x. There's nothing added to the x term here. There is something added to the x term there. So we're going to go through and identify these parts. Well, m equals 2. When there's nothing added, you put a 0 there. So two things we need to keep in mind. If there's a variable there with no number in front, you put a 1. If there's nothing added, you put a 0. So my slope here is 2. My y-intercept is 0. My slope here is negative 1/3. My y-intercept is 3. So let's go back through. My slope is positive, so this is a positive. This is a positive slope. The y-intercept is 0, 0. The rise over the run, if you have a rise, a whole number only, this also equals 2 over 1 to make it a fraction. 2 over 1. Over here, slope is negative. Y-intercept is 0, 3. Rise over run, it's in fraction form, 1 over 3. Positive 1 over 3. Down here, we have to solve for y. So I'm going to move the x term over. Get y equals 4 plus x. Remember what I said, if there's no number in front of that x term, you put a 1 there. You put a 1. This is a 1. So, highlighting important things here. My slope is the number in front of x. My y-intercept is the number added or subtracted. So here I have, let me calibrate real quick. So here I have rewriting y equals 1x plus 4. Slope m equals 1. Y-intercept equals 4. So writing this out, I have a positive slope. And I want to make it a fraction, so I would make that 1 over 1. Y-intercept is 0, 4. We said we're going to dispense with x-intercepts for this lesson. And the rise over the run is 1 over 1. Okay? So saying that for the last two, you need to solve for y, figure out the slope type, get the y-intercepts, dispense with the x-intercepts, and get the rise over the run. And I'll leave you to that. The last thing we want to do is identify the slope given points. So you can identify the slope of a line by using the slope formula. What is the slope formula? It's essentially talking about the rise over the run. What we're going to do, you always need to do, is label the sets of points that you're given. Okay? Once you label them, you can figure out what is your first set of coordinates. So that's what the subscript 1 means. What is your first set of coordinates? What is your second set of coordinates? And these are the coordinates with the subscript 2. Okay? Once you have those things, you can plug them in. Okay? So I believe in the power of labeling. You have the formula. You need to memorize the formula. So the best thing to do like for that is to just write out the formula. M, the slope, M equals y2 minus y1 over the second x term minus the first x term. So which one's first, which one's second? Well, label them. x1, y1, x2, y2. See, 5 minus 12 over 9 minus 11 equals -7 over -2 equals, simplified, 7 over 2. Circle your answer. Number 2, labeling x1, y1, x2, y2. So slope equals y2 minus y1 over the second x value minus the first equals 9 minus 3 over 7 minus 10 equals 3 over -3 equals -1. Number 3, label your points x1, y1, x2, y2. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals -2 minus 4 divided by 9 minus -2 equals -6 over +11 equals -6 over 11. Final answer. Down below, I want you to practice these on your own. Make sure you're doing the following things. Labeling the points. Label the points. Write the formula so you memorize it. Replace variables. Simplify your answers. And circle your answers. When you're done, move forward to applying the slope formula. So each table below gives some points on a line. You pick any 2 points in a table to determine the slopes of the line. So if I was going to pick any 2 points, it's like getting a choice. We're getting the slope for each set of points, each table set. We're getting the slope for each table set. So what we need to do is pick a first set of points and then a second set. So here's my first set, and I'm going to pick the one below. Here's my second set. Then I'm going to write them side by side. Here's my first set, -6, comma, -4. So this is x1, this is y1. And then my second set, -5 and -9. This is x2, comma, y2. Now, I need the change in y's over the change in x's. So m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x of 1 equals -9 minus -4, close parentheses, over my x's, -5 minus -6, close parentheses. I'm going to simplify. I get equals negative 5 over negative positive 1 equals negative 5. So the slope of this line, the slope here is m equals 5. Okay? Now, do I have to pick the next set of points? No, I could pick two different sets. I could pick 0, 3 and 2, 8. If I put them side by side and just label them, I can go ahead and put them in my formula. So I have 0, 3, x1, y1, 2, 8, x2, y2. Here's my formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x of 2 minus x of 1 equals 8 minus 3 over 2 minus 0, or 5 over 2. So my slope here is 5 divided by 2. So for the last one, you'll do on your own. You're going to pick two set of points and label the points, write your formula, and then plug those numbers in. That's the end of this lesson. You do have homework tonight. Your homework is going to be lesson 2's homework, and it's on page 22. It also moves forward to page 23, right? Where you're using the slope formula. And the next lesson, when you come back, will be writing the equation of a line given some information. Have a good day, guys.